how's it going today? Welcome to Bull in the Ring College Football Show. My name is Joe Clay, and right here next to me, we have my brother here.
Hi, I'm Elliot Clay, and glad to be here with Bull in the Ring, first episode, and hopefully we can bring some good college football talk to y'all.
And then right here next to me, we got my dad.
Yeah, I'm Joe Clay Sr., and yeah, we're ready for college football talk and whatever's out there this year, and we're ready and see what happens.
We might be some OU fans, but we're going to talk about all college football. We can watch any game at any time, so we're just from Oklahoma, so we just want to talk football. But today we're going to talk about the bowl games, and we're also going to run down just the preseason 2019. And the game that we want to talk, we're going to go through all the games that were in the top 25 bowl season. And number 15 took on number 5 Georgia, but Texas ended up coming out victorious in that game, 28-21. Sam Ellinger, he was in that game against Jake Fromm, and so Texas actually ended up their season 10-4, and Georgia ended up 11-3. And did you think that Georgia should have ended up in the college football playoffs, or what do you think?
That was a really, big talking point this past, the end of this season. And I kind of like the way the chips fell. And it's easy to say that coming from an Oklahoma fan. But, taking my bias out of it, I thought it fell, if the chips fell the way it was supposed to fall. And Georgia, although that was a good matchup with Texas, and Texas came out with a victory, and it was surprising to see Texas play such a physical brand of football, much like an SEC team, and to almost out the SEC out an SEC team, if you know what I mean. They won the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and great game, and I think both teams got a good chance this upcoming season to do some things.
How do you think Texas played in that game?
Texas did really good. Their defense stepped up. Sam Ellinger stepped up. The coaching staff they had the plan ready. They were ready to take Georgia on, and I don't think Georgia knew they were going to be that good. They thought they could kind of run over Texas, I thought. But, Texas comes out victorious, so, that's a good win for the Big 12. So, just a hat and a feather, or feather and a hat, I mean.
Feather and a hat.
Yeah. And anyway, that was a good win for the Big 12.
All right, let's go on to the next game. It was number 9 Washington against number 6 Ohio State, and Ohio State ends up winning that 28-23. So that was the last game for Urban Meyer. So next up, they got a brand new coach coming in. What's his name? I don't even know his name. Day. I think his name's Day. I can't remember his last name.
Not for sure. New Ohio State.
Yeah.
Is all I know. The legend's out. Urban Meyer's out. Got some new blood. Not for sure. Don't really know those guys. So. New blood, and so big question mark for Ohio State to see how they come out this year. But they ended very strong on a strong note with Urban Meyer, and one could argue, the argument was, should they have been in that 4th spot in the Final Four, and the way they played, it makes you wonder. But a great finish for Ohio State, and we'll just have to see.
That was Ryan Day. I looked it up. Ryan Day. So yeah. Let's go on to number 14. Kentucky played Penn State, number 24, and Kentucky ended up winning that 27-24. Stoops, he won it.
Mark Stoops.
Stoops.
I think he's the youngest brother of the 3.
Yeah, so he ended up winning it. So.
Yeah, Mark, he had a great season this year coaching for Kentucky, and Kentucky they pulled it off right there at the bowl game. That was a good win for a bowl game for Kentucky.
And then let's go to another one. Number 11, LSU beat beat number 8 UCF 40-32. So held UCF from at the very end. They played a tight game, but LSU ended up winning that game. Josh Heupel.
Yes, Josh Heupel, he led the UCF team, and thought they did a great job. LSU was a little bit too much for them. And what was interesting about that game was I remember the emphasis on that game was should a team outside the Power Five be allowed into the Final Four, and that was kind of like a tester game to see kind of where UFC matched up with the rest of the Power Five, and their argument was that they were deserving, and and so that game had a lot of emphasis on should teams outside the Power Five be worthy of the Final Four, and LSU kind of handled them, but UCF played hard, but LSU took care of business.
Yeah.
Well, LSU kind of flexed their muscles a little bit on them, but I think the quarterback for UCF was he wasn't in the game. I think he tore his leg up or knee up, ACL or something happened to him. Anyway, he didn't get in there, so maybe they would have done better. I don't know, but the Southeast Conference is a tough conference, so yeah, that was a pretty good ball game.
And then we got number 18 Mississippi State 22, unranked Iowa 27, and Iowa ended up winning that game. I'm not Iowa, Ohio. No, Iowa. I'm sorry. It's right. Yep. So let's go on to some games prior to it. Let's see here. We have number 25, Boise State. No, that wasn't it. They actually that game canceled. Here it's West Virginia. Number 16 took on Syracuse 34, and Syracuse ended up winning that game 34-18. So, what do you think about West Virginia? Them losing their coach.
Dana Holgorsen going to Houston. I think that was very interesting. That kind of caught me off guard. I thought Dana Holgorsen was West Virginia's man for the next decade or so, or I thought he was going to be a staple there. And so it's surprising to see that move happen. Don't know all the details that went behind it. But we're familiar with West Virginia since they've been in the Big 12 the past few years, and it's been cool to see them play. And they've just kind of like adopted like a lot of other Big 12 teams, a high scoring, high powered offense type of team. And what's interesting coming into this year with West Virginia is that they're going to be adding Austin Kendall to their lineup. There's a good chance he'll be the starting quarterback, the OU transfer. And so we're all familiar with that.
Austin Kendall, he played behind Baker Mayfield, and he also played it behind Murray this year for OU. So now that Jalen Hurts is coming to OU, Austin Kendall got out of there, and now he's going to probably be the starting quarterback for West Virginia. So excited to see that matchup coming up. So
yeah, excited to see what he can do.
Yeah. Let's go on to number 24, Iowa State played Washington State, and Washington State ended up winning that game 28-26. Mike Leach.
Yes, a Mike Leach team, Washington State, and I got to watch some of this game, and I was kind of pulling for Iowa State in a Big 12 team. I was wanting to the Big 12 to do well in the bowl series, and but Washington State was a little bit too much, and Mike Leach with the air raid, it flexed their muscle a little bit, and Iowa State, they've had a really good defense this year, and a good defense this year, stopping spread offenses teams, which they're familiar with in the Big 12. So they actually kept Washington State, from scoring, crazily, but Washington State was a little bit too much, and they made some key defensive stops. So
yeah,
kudos to them.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to number 10, Florida. Played number 7 Michigan. Florida ended up winning 41-15. Michigan coming off a loss to Ohio State at the end. That was a crazy game. So, I mean, I thought Michigan was going to be a little bit better in the end, but they couldn't hold off, and they got really whooped in that last game, 41-15. So,
Yeah, you definitely going into that game. I thought that game was going to be. You hear the brand names Michigan, Florida. You think, closer matchup, but Florida kind of ran away with that one, kind of surprising. So, a lot of question marks for Michigan going into next year.
And then we come to the college football playoffs where Oklahoma played Alabama. Alabama won 45-34. What did you think about that game?
Alabama was just too much for them, and they just, they had a better game plan, and OU's defense wasn't that good, but they stopped Texas to make it to the Final Four, so they just it was a tough go for the Big 12 there in the Final Four.
Yeah, OU let them score too many points that first quarter. I think Alabama scored 28 points on them that first quarter, so that was a tough setback for them to come back and try to win that game. So, and then we'll go into the next game. It was Notre Dame and Clemson. Clemson ended up winning that game 30-3. What do you think about? What do you think about Notre Dame?
Notre Dame and
playing
Clemson,
that game.
I didn't catch that one so much, but when I was flipping it there, it's usually Clemson scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean their defense. It seems like Notre Dame's defense was holding Clemson for a while there, but then Clemson just came back and they just started scoring, and so.
Like I say, the Clemson, the Southeast Conference, the ACC, Clemson, it was just too much. Their defense, they didn't even have one of their starters in there, and he was on the sideline. So that just shows you how tough they are. How Clemson's just got, with Brent, Venables, running the defense for Clemson is just too much for them.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed about that game was Notre Dame was so stagnant on offense, and we're used to watching offenses that can move the ball in the Big 12. That's a lot of the games we catch throughout the year, and so when I watched Notre Dame, I was like, wow, I was like, come on guys, move the ball, make it competitive. But Clemson just put that blanket defense on them, and just whatever Notre Dame was trying to do, they just it's just 4 and out, punt it. And so it's kind of a crazy way to lose, just knowing that like you feel helpless whenever you can't move the ball on offense.
And here's a couple more games that before we get to the final was number 23 Missouri took on Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State ended up winning that game 38-33. Mike Gundy. I'm glad they pulled one off at the end because their record was 7-6 this year, so it wasn't that good. But they played Oklahoma hard. It seems like every good team they played them really hard. They beat Boise State at the beginning of the year, and good thing they held off to hopefully they can come back and have a better season this year. Then we had Texas A&M, number 19, was 52, and they beat unranked NC State 52-13. So. And then we had Northwest, number 22, go against Utah, number 17, and Northwest ended up winning that game 31-20. So, and then our final game, of course, happened to Clemson, Alabama, number 2 versus number 1. Clemson ended up winning that game 44-16. What did you think about that final game?
Oh, just that was a crazy game, and
I mean, the end of the first quarter was 14-13.
Yeah.
So,
going into that game, everyone was expecting the game to go to a touchdown, go to a field goal, and that's what I was kind of expecting was it to be a nail biter, and what you saw was just Clemson dominance, and you saw the strength of Trevor Lawrence leading that Clemson offense, and wow, he looked great. He looked like a future pro. And the wide receiver, don't know his name, kid out of Alabama. Them two connecting on many passes, and they're just really strong on offense and did it to probably arguably first or second best defense in the country. So kudos to Clemson.
All right, let's get into the preseason top 25. Who started off? What do you got? I think it's
Nebraska.
Nebraska is going to be number 25. I think they started off the season 4-8, but we're going to get to the next one. All right, who do we got?
24.
24, yeah.
At number 24, we got Northwestern, and I'm just going to kind of read through these, and
Yeah.
then stop me if you want to talk on the team.
Okay.
All right, so we got number 24 Northwestern, number 23 Missouri, 22 is at Iowa, 21 Virginia Tech, number 20 Stanford, number 19 Utah, number 18 Washington State.
Well, I'll say something about Stanford and Utah. They always play really good during the season, and sometimes in the bowl games they just kind of falter or something. I don't know what it is about them, but they do play pretty tough teams during the season. So, yeah, I like those two teams.
Pac-12 teams.
Yeah, they're good.
All right, number 17 was Auburn. Number 16 was Washington. 15 UCF. 14 Wisconsin. 13 Penn State. Number 12 is Florida. Number 11 is Oregon, and I'll let Elliot finish top 10.
Oregon. Okay. Number 10 is Texas A&M. Number 9, Notre Dame. Number 8, LSU. Number 7, Michigan. Number 6, Texas. 5, Oklahoma. 4, Georgia. Number 3, Ohio State. Number 2, Alabama. And number 1, Clemson.
So that's going to do it for the top 25. You guys got any closing comments on this first episode of the Bull in the Ring College Football Show?
Closing thoughts. I enjoyed it. It was fun, and hope to just build off of this and just be able to create some real interesting talking points and even for our viewers to kind of interact with us. Maybe leave some comments and like and subscribe to the channel and just create some good dialogue. And because I know college football is it's a big thing, and it's all something that no matter where you are in America, we all can kind of find commonplace with that. That we all passionate about sports, and passionate about college football. Create some good discussion.
You got any last?
Yeah, just looking forward to the top 25 in college football itself. It's just it's like a big animal. It's out there, man, and so there's a lot of discussion on it. We just really tip the iceberg. So yeah, we didn't even talk about OU or Texas, and we're from Oklahoma, so yeah, the Oklahoma teams, OSU and OU, we really like them, and Texas is always there too. They give OU the Red River rival and we enjoy that in October.
So make sure if you have any questions and you want to leave us, just leave them in the comments down below. Also, we have a Facebook page, Bull in the Ring. We have a group if you want to come join that. And so we'll just more discussion going on throughout the week. Any questions you want to leave. So, but that's going to do it for us today. And we'll see you back. We're going to put the show together every Monday. So every Sunday or Monday, we'll let you know. And then, but that's all we got for today. Thank you for watching the show. We'll talk to y'all guys later.
Thank you.
Later.